never called me approachable. I'm Franca
She's
Iguela.
approachable.
Actually, I've been called the exact opposite.
Are you
People
serious?
tell me my face is strong.
They don't know you yet. That's why. They
don't.
don't know you yet. Okay. It's good to be back once more. And I think it's
this
in
is the
order to
first
say
time
yes.
that
Happy
we're
New
playing.
Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes.
Right?
Good to see you too.
Happy New Year, Mrs. Mona.
All right, today we're going to talk about something very, very exciting. I know you're going to like it. Today we're going to sound almost like activists, yes?
Right?
Yes, right. We're going to sound like activists today. Now, someone once said that if you want to be a human being, a real human being, a man or a woman, stand up for yourself. Now, life is all about choices. Yes, we make a lot of choices in life. Some are choices that benefit us because we are able to air our views and our opinions about things, or we make choices that diminish us because we don't, or we are afraid to air our opinions and view to people in order that they may not be hurt or we don't hurt ourselves. Now, today we are going to be talking about standing up for yourself.
True. Standing up. I feel like today I learned from this because
we're
this
all
topic
learning.
is for me.
You know, Daily Question is all about.
It's all about learning.
We talk about things that get towards your success. So today we're going to talk about something that is get towards your success in that relationship, that business, at home.
Yes.
You need to stand up for yourself.
True.
Now, when we talk about standing up for yourself, I think the first thing that comes to our mind is bullying. But today we're not all about bullying. No, we're not all about bullying.
We'll touch on it, but it's not the only thing.
It's all wide. There's so many things we need to stand up for in life in order for us to be successful.
True. In fact, when someone says stand up for yourself, I think of one word immediately comes to my mind, and that's assertiveness. You know, when they say somebody has an assertive personality, you get. And assertiveness is like, it's different from being overly aggressive or being too submissive. You know, those are two opposite ends of the spectrum. Being assertive and standing up for yourself is right in the middle. It's that golden mean. I don't know if you remember from high school when we do maths and they'll give you a range of numbers and tell you to find the mean.
Yes,
and the mean is that middle number that's like perfect, right in the middle of all the others. Exactly. Assertiveness is like that. It's a mean, right? You're not a pushover. You're not letting people walk all over you. And you're not overly aggressive and you're not a bully.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But you're still able to say what you think while taking into consideration the feeling of others. You get? I feel like it's a way where you balance your needs and your emotions or how you're feeling with the needs and emotions of the person you're dealing with or the other people that you're dealing with. So you're able to strike a balance where you're speaking up for yourself, standing up for yourself, standing your ground, while also taking into consideration how that person feels.
Okay.
The person you're speaking to. You know, when you're overly aggressive, which is, like I said, the other end of the spectrum, you don't care about them. You don't care about who you're speaking to, how they're going to react to what you're saying. You just want to impose your feelings and your whims and caprices on them. But that's not what standing up for yourself is. Standing up for yourself is more like, this is what I think, and I think you should know. You know, and this is the reason why I think this way. And, well, what do you think? You know, just depending on the situation, how you're able to deal with it, how you're able to balance it. I think that's what standing up for yourself is. Something I must learn this year.
Indirectly, simply telling us this, that asking for something in a manner that deserves respect.
Simple.
Yes.
And even asking for it respectfully as well.
Respectfully, yes. Respectfully in a way that you still demand your respect and a way that you still respect the person you are talking to or demanding it from. Yes, that's what standing up for yourself means. Now, talking about bullying, I know we have instances where when we were growing up, we couldn't stand up for ourselves.
We were too small.
We were too small. But you know, in a way, you could stand up for yourself when we're still little. Because standing up for yourself starts from where you're so little. Yes.
It's something you
Because I remember back then, those days when we're growing up, we'll come back from school and maybe we have a case of bullying and we'll report to our parents. And funny enough, that was something my dad always did. And that's why it's good to train up your kids in a very good way, you know. He will always tell us that if you come home, the next time you come home and tell me that you were beaten up by somebody, I'll beat you. So we always go back to that.
Really?
I mean, my dad, I know it wasn't very, very good, but he taught us how to stand up for ourselves. You know, as far as teaching us how to fight Physically,
Wow.
I mean, yes, physically, he was always doing it.
That's one way to do it.
He was always doing it, but it's not too good to teach your kids how to fight, but you must teach
not.
them how to stand up for themselves, either verbally or physically. I mean, someone won't just go around punching you every day and you see the person. I mean, there are situations where kids can't go to school because there's somebody there bullying them. And bullying someone can cause emotional trauma.
True.
So when you don't stand up for yourself, when you don't stand up for yourself, you lose out. There are a lot of things you lose. I can't go to work today because there's this particular person that keeps on telling me to do this thing, and I don't know how to say no. I don't know what to do about that person. I mean, this is not the time to be complaining. This is 2019. You complain about that situation. You feel there's nothing you can do about it. You feel you cannot say no because you don't want to hurt the person. My dear, you need to say no. I remember we had a topic, learning to say no. You need to say no. It is your responsibility to stand up for yourself, because mommy and daddy will not be there. Fine, they've taught you how to stand up for yourself while you're growing up, but now you're an adult. You need to stand up for yourself. Don't feel intimidated. Don't allow people walk over you. Don't allow people throw things at you that you don't like, and you keep swallowing them, and you know that it's hindering you, hindering your success, hindering that relationship, or hindering you from doing what you want to do. So you need to stand up for yourself.
In fact, as you just said, relationship, it made me think about how a lot of times people who get into relationships just leave, they stop being themselves.
Exactly.
Because they are just doing what the other person wants. They only go where the other person likes. They only do the leisurely activities of the other person.
He likes it this way, she likes it this way.
This person only eats this type of food, so that's all they're eating. It happens. It's so funny.
But there needs to be an equilibrium. That is not a relationship.
It's not.
Dr. Juanita Bailon, she said something. She said, relationship is what I need because you know what you need. So it's a two-way thing. There's an equilibrium. You don't lose yourself.
Exactly. You don't lose yourself.
Yes, you don't change yourself into somebody else because you're in a relationship.
True.
There's something you don't like in the relationship and you keep on condoning it. It's not right.
Will never leave,
at the end of the day,
change.
the relationship is going to crash. So you need to stand up for yourself.
I know that's one thing that standing up for yourself and being assertive does for you. It helps you be your real self. You're more genuine.
Exactly.
You know, you're not fake smiling your life away. You're not ingenuine. You're real. You know, you're keeping it real in that sense. And I mean, I can't imagine the kind of freedom that comes with saying it the way it is in your mind.
That's it.
A lot of times, a lot of you will agree with me. You have just been carrying something in your, and then one day you are just like, you know what, today I'm speaking my mind. And then you talk. And it's like they lifted a burden off your shoulders. Because you'll be able to say, okay, look, this is my position, this is what I think, and this is what I want to do. And then you go through with it. And you realize you feel so much better. Like it's a weight that's let go of. You're so free, and it's something we need to do more often. I mean, it's 2019.
I did something very funny. I told the kid, I said, I knew she was up to the age of thinking and reasoning, and I said, sit down here. She sat down. I said, get up. I said, pick that thing. She kept on doing, and I looked at her. I said, can't you just say no? But you're telling me. I say no. When you get out into the real world, you don't do everything somebody tells you to do. If you know it's inconveniencing for you, say no. That's what makes you a human being.
I can't count how many times I have agreed to do something that was inconvenient. It is in my bid to not offend anybody's sensibilities or sensitivities. I have just been like,
go ahead.
Okay. And then they walk away, and I have to do this thing I've agreed to do. And the entire time I'm carrying out this task, I am annoyed. I am just so unhappy with how things are going, because I could be using my time to do something else. And that's me losing. My time is going, I'm not fulfilled, and yet I'm stuck doing this thing for this person who I could have said no to.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's something we need to think about and change.
Funny enough, in life, you know, humans generally or naturally are selfish.
True. That is our nature. Selfish.
80% maybe they just want to use you for what? To their own bidding. They just want to use you to do what they want to do. And they dump you. Yes, that's the word. They dump you. Only God will not dump you. So most times you just need to stand up and say no. It's not convenient for me. I cannot do this right now.
Like, yes.
You need to speak out.
Why
even
you're
concerning
asking,
what you believe. Concerning your belief, concerning your idea.
True.
You're at your workplace and maybe there's a discussion and somebody's saying something contrary, and you know quite right that thing is wrong, and you keep quiet. I mean, it's It's not human. To me, it's not human. You speak your mind.
Yeah.
You say what you.
I think.
And you do it in a calm manner. You do it in a respectful manner.
But the whole idea is don't shy away from disagreeing.
Exactly.
Don't shy away from, opposing a popular notion or being the dissenting opinion. Exactly. You understand? Don't shy away from it. In fact, I've noticed in my studies that sometimes when a panel of judges are presiding over an issue, maybe 5 or 7 of them, 5 out of 7 will say this, and then 2 will say that. And then after time passes, we realize that those 2 dissenting opinions are the more proper application of the law.
Exactly.
And then if they had just decided, let's not cause problem, let's go with the crowd, you realize that the law which would have developed will suffer. So don't be scared to say, I don't agree with you. I don't think so. I don't think this is the way we should do it. Some people are too...
They just want to please.
They're people pleasers. And my goodness, we all know that you cannot please everybody. It's impossible. There are people... Jesus came and died for people, and they were still angry. Like, let's not agree. He did not wake up from the dead.
So we're telling you today, if anyone is abusing your courtesy, your goodwill, you're being nice, you're being kind, please stand up for yourself. Don't
tell them if you keep behaving this way. I had a mentor at some point in my life when I was like 17. He was really, really a good mentor to me and everything. And he really let me into his life in a way he didn't let others. Okay. And then after a while, I started taking it for granted. Not responding at adequate times when I was supposed to. And then one day he called me and said, look, Franca, I don't have to do this that I'm doing with you. I don't have to be here for you the way I am. I don't have to give you this much of myself. If you don't appreciate it, it will end. And man, nobody told me. I sat up. And I started taking him more seriously. Stopped taking him for granted. Because I understood. He told me, look, understand that there are people who I could be giving my precious time to, but I'm deciding to give it to you. So you need to understand that if you don't take your time, if you don't act appropriately, this privilege is going to end. He put his foot down. And it changed the course of our relationship. I, started behaving better. And that's something that, imagine if he didn't speak. Okay. And I just kept wasting his time, not responding, ignoring his calls and such and such. Imagine what we would have been doing to him. He would have just been building a grudge in his heart, and then maybe he would have told me one day, Frank, I don't want to see you anymore. And then decided, you know what, all these young children, they don't know anything. I'm not going to be anybody's mentor again, I'm done. But rather, he spoke to me, had me change, and has still gone on to have many, many more mentees in his life and change more people's lives. So, at the end of the day, you see that long term, it's a whole lot better for you to speak your mind and stand up for yourself and stand your ground than to say, I'll get over it. Which is something I do a lot. Somebody will do something to me, yeah, and I'll just be like, it's cool, I'll get over it. And then, because I didn't tell them what they did was bad, they will do it again. Okay. Without knowing that they are hurting me or hurting my feelings. And then in that kind of situation, you can't blame them because you didn't tell them what they were doing was... this is one time where ignorance will be a defense. Exactly. Even though generally ignorance is not a defense. If you don't tell somebody, look, this particular attitude, I don't appreciate it, they will keep doing it and you find yourself repeatedly getting hurt. Instead of putting your foot down and saying, look, I don't appreciate this.
And you know what? The funniest thing is that something you don't address will keep on occurring.
Exactly.
And it kept on happening to me. And I had to make up my mind. That was the day I just had to make up my mind. Now something happened. We went for, a meeting. And
right.
At the end of the day, something happened, which I didn't like quite all right. And a friend of mine, my colleague, she asked me a question. So why did you react that way? And I asked her, would it have been better if I had not reacted at all and kept what happened buried in my mind? I said, would you have preferred me like that? And she went, no. But I surprised her. Naturally, maybe if I was offended and I didn't say anything, I would have just ignored her. But I called her up and talked to her. And the next day she asked me again, why did you be like? I said, I just told her, I said, that is me. That is my character. If you do something to me I don't like, I tell you quite all right. And if you don't like it, well, that's your problem. But I've told you so that next time you won't repeat it.
Yeah, you don't repeat it, exactly.
And our relationship goes on smoothly. So if there's something someone has done to you you don't like, you need to speak out.
To speak up.
Yes, you need to speak out.
Yeah.
If there's an idea you have concerning something, speak out. Even if you feel it won't be accepted, speak out. You need to
Let
stand
your
up.
position
Yes,
be
that's
known.
what we're saying.
Yes.
That we seem like activists today. Yes, you need to speak out. Stand up. Stand up for what is right. Somebody said, if you fall today,
Yeah.
you need to stand up the next day. Yes, falling today, stand up.
Yeah.
If
Fall
you fell
7
yesterday,
times, get up
yes,
8.
stand up tomorrow. If you fall backwards yesterday, fall forward today. Stand up for what is right. Don't keep quiet. If there's something pinching you that you don't like, even towards your spouse, speak out. But what we are saying is this: speak out in a calm manner. Don't be rude. Don't be impolite.
Let there be mutual respect.
Yes, and there will be respect, and that person will respect you more. I mean, I
Exactly.
respect people who
tell
come
you
to
how
me
they feel.
and tell me how they feel. I
Yeah.
love it. I love communication.
Exactly.
I love people come to me and tell me this and this and that. I love it that way. Our relationship goes on smoothly.
Yeah.
You don't talk behind people's back. Cowards talk behind people. Immature people talk behind people's back.
Yeah.
Come to my face and say. And if you can't say, then forever hold your peace. Seller.
You know what I've noticed? You know, people who have like relationships or any kind of partnership with people, with other people, and something will go wrong. For instance, you will do something to me, and as opposed to, instead of telling you that, oh, Mrs. Mona, you did this thing, I will go and tell perhaps our
The next
producer.
person.
I'll be like, can you imagine what Mrs. Mona did?
And it's so synonymous with ladies. I don't know why.
Nah,
Yes.
guys are in there. Oh, don't even go there.
Okay, is that a fallacy?
They're in there.
Universal
They're
fallacy?
in there. I don't know about universal fallacy, but I
Okay.
mean, they're in there.
Okay.
I just realized, by the way, our number is on the screen. If you want to call in and tell us about any kind of situations you've had where you had to be assertive or you had to stand up for yourself, please do. Also, if you're like me and you have a ton of situations where you just let people get away with things, call and talk to us. Let's share in your story, and please keep watching so you know how to change such things.
WhatsApp.
We have a
open
WhatsApp
also.
message.
No, I mean, our WhatsApp line
have
is
a
open
message.
also. You
Oh
can
yes,
send-
our WhatsApp message. Our WhatsApp line is also open for you to send us a message. You know, I just remembered something. When I was sharing an apartment with someone when I was in school, we went half-seas on everything. We half the rent, half of the bills and everything. So she had this period where she was going through some financial struggles. So I had to bear the burden myself. And it was fine at first, you know, I was
Yes, I
comfortably
understand that
paying the
feeling.
bills and everything. I was waiting for her to stabilize, you know, and everything like that. I didn't want to put in her face like, hello, why are you broke? You know? So after a while, I realized that she was getting some money and she was buying hair and shoes.
Yes, we saw
You need to
that
see her
when we
on
were in school.
Sunday. She will be looking fly. Well, me, I'll be like, something's wrong, you know? Because all my money is going into bills and groceries. And I now told her, like, babe, it's not like you have to, but maybe you could try helping her with these bills. But then I didn't say it in a way that made it look like she had to. I added maybe too much. I was suggesting. I was saying,
that's the right thing to
maybe you should pay. It was not the right thing because she did
okay,
not
the
pay.
way you said it.
I was too.
Okay, you're too.
If you
calm.
have, you can pay.
You
You,
can,
know, if
okay.
you can, if it's not too much stress. My dear, this girl didn't pay Jack. Do you know how it took somebody speaking to me and saying, Franca, you're actually being very financially stupid. You're not saving anymore. You're spending all this money on bills. I mean, she will look. It's amazing how she dresses.
No, there are some people.
Do you know what I had to do? I know. You know what I did? When the bills come, I told her, excuse me, hi, I'm going to pay my half.
Okay.
When you're ready, when you have your money, pay your half. The first month, because we used to get monthly bills, she thought I was kidding. I split our bill in half, paid mine, left the rest. Left the receipt for the rest. The next month, she still didn't pay. The new bill that came, I deducted her half from the new bill, I halved the remainder and paid just that. That was when she clicked like, oh, it's like Franca is serious. Oh.
Okay.
You get? After a while, nobody told her. She found money and started paying the bills.
Do you know you just said something amazing, because when we're talking about stand up for yourself, it's not just
It's not
verbal.
just verbal.
It's
Yes.
not just verbal.
It's not just verbal. I
Not an
decided to take action.
Yes, action. You took an
And
action.
I was
yes.
not
So
disrespecting.
it could also
I
be
was not
body language too. Action, body language.
I didn't go to
being
her
verbal.
like, you this girl, why are you just a broke girl? You know?
No, that
Why
would have
don't
been
you
rude.
have money? That would
Yes.
have been rude.
Yes.
That would have been insensitive, and that's not me. But I realized that somebody was taking advantage of me.
Yes.
And I had to do something to change that. And I had to like stand my ground, put my foot down and say, Auntie, we are sharing these bills. I'm not your husband.
Okay, so basically,
and that's how the situation
if you're
changed.
just joining us, we are simply saying this. If you're having a problem, saying, I don't know how to tell him, I don't know how to tell her, I don't know how she's going to take
worry,
it.
we're here for
he has
you.
been doing this to me, she has been doing this to me, but I don't just know what to do. Can you imagine? She does this, and you are just complaining.
What you should be speaking to the person.
You need to stand up for yourself. Speak out. Speak out by your body language, by your words, or action. But what you must do is this: don't be rude. Be polite.
Don't be rude.
Be polite.
A lot of times I've seen good messages get lost in translation because of rudeness or manner of approach. Exactly. What you're saying is true. What you're saying is right. But the way you said it, the person just doesn't receive it. Like, how can you talk to me like that? In fact, I'm not paying. Come and beat me. And you realize that the conflict has escalated because of the manner in which that's why I mentioned mean and the balance in the beginning. You need to find that balance where you're balancing your needs with theirs.
Okay.
And it's not just about you. You're not being completely selfish. You're being reasonable. You're being responsible.
Exactly.
Yeah? But you're also putting yourself into consideration as opposed to only considering that person, you know, and how they feel, and not wanting to make them feel bad, not wanting to hurt or offend them, and so you're hurting yourself.
Exactly.
So the idea is to balance it.
Balance it. So in that business deal, in that relationship, training up your kids, you need to stand up for yourself. Now, I wonder why people can't stand up for themselves. There are some reasons why people don't stand up for themselves. So we're going to be talking about that.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons is low self-esteem. They don't value themselves. They don't feel that they are worth anything, or they
don't think their opinion is important.
It's important. Now, you don't need to think that way as a human. Everybody is important. Everybody is important. A child's idea can be valued today. Yeah? That's why I like our mentor, our Papa. He always asks you, what do you think? When we are growing up, my dad will always tell us this. He'll bring a problem, he'll ask you a particular question about something and want to know what you think about that. And at the end of the day, he will tell us this. Did you have to go to school before you knew that? By the time you get the answer, I said, you don't have to. There are some things you just have to think through. You have to use your mind. Right. So in that relationship, in that business, at your workplace, you need to stand up. You need to speak out. Your idea is valued. Don't feel you are worthless. Stop having low self-esteem that you cannot speak out publicly or where people are.
True.
I'm talking about speaking out publicly. Shyness is a very bad thing. Yeah, it is. Yes, it can rob you of a lot of things.
True.
It can. Yeah, and when we came to this commission, I remember vividly, there was a particular day that Papa was talking to a young lady, and he said something. He was praying about shyness. Because, I mean, shyness makes you stay in one corner and feel, I can't come out, everybody's looking at me, I don't think I can get up to get that thing. Yeah. It robs you of a lot of things. So shyness is not a good thing. It's not. You need to work on it. Yes, I know people can be shy, but you need to work on it. It shouldn't get to the extent that you can't get up to get what you want, because it will rob you a lot of things in life. And success is all about succeeding in succession, you going out to get what you want. So one of the reasons why people cannot stand up for themselves is because of low self-esteem. So we need to deal with that.
And another reason is they don't want to offend or hurt the other person. So they are, if one can say, overly considerate.
Over polite also.
Yeah. So you're doing something you don't want to do, but because you just can't tell them no. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want them to feel
that
bad.
person is hurting you.
So you have people literally shooting themselves in the foot because they don't want to hurt someone else's. Somebody that will get over it. If you don't do it for the person, someone else will. Exactly. And we need to understand that you cannot come and kill yourself for somebody else, you know? Like, I understand the concept of putting yourself out there for somebody else, right? Yes. And, you know, being a nice and generous philanthropist, I understand that. But in no way does that mean that you should do it at your own detriment.
So allow people walk all over you.
Even the Bible says, love others as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. So it is inappropriate for you to not love others more than you love yourself, because that's where the whole low self-esteem thing comes in, because you're now putting others ahead of yourself and hurting yourself in a bid to not offend, or you want to, you know, you don't want people to say you are bad, you don't want people to say that you said no, you can't say yes to everything. Like you told that child, you can't, at some point, you will have to say, I'm sorry, I can't. It's unfortunate, I wish I could help you, but right now, it's a bad time for me. I mean, I like to even share the story with the permission of someone that was shared with me a while back. It was between two friends, two young men.
Okay.
So one person needed money, right? And his friend offered him and said, okay, you know what, you need this amount of money, I'll lend it to you.
Okay.
Now the person who lent the money eventually got his money back, they moved on. Now later on, the person who lent the money needed money. And went and asked that young man he lent money to and said, can you help me? And he was expecting it based on, I've helped you before. But the young man that he was asking for said, I'm sorry, this is not a good time. I can't give you this money. And he said at first, he was like, even after I've helped you. But like the person told him, when you helped me that first time, did I ask you to? I didn't. You decided to be nice, which is great.
Wow.
But right now, I cannot afford to be nice as well. And their friendship did not end. Because what the young man was saying was true. I wish I could help you.
Yeah.
I wish I could do this for you, especially since I know you've helped me before. But right now is not a good time. I'm sorry. Find another person. And they kept on being friends. Like I said, the friendship did not end.
Exactly.
That person was... imagine if he felt obligated to give him money because he had helped him at some point, and then he finds himself in financial strain that he could have avoided simply because he didn't want to offend his friend's sensibilities. It happens all the time.
And this thing you just said, it reminds me of something. Somebody tells you to do something that you know it's absolutely wrong, and you're just like, he's my friend, so I had to go ahead and do it. That's stupidity as far as I'm concerned. Don't say it's because he's my friend. Friends help each other. Friends don't help each other to do the wrong thing, for crying out loud.
It's like our parents always say, if all your friends jump off a bridge, will you jump off a bridge
will
too?
you jump with your friend? No.
It's a very popular Nigerian parent question.
You need to stand up and say, I can't do this. It's wrong. It's wrong. I can't do it. And I'm coming back to kids again. Daddies and mommy need to teach their kids how to stand up for themselves. Now, a kid approaches your own child and tells your child, do this particular thing, and the child knows it's wrong.
Yeah.
But because maybe he feels the child is bigger in size,
or he wants to feel among with the crowd.
Wants to feel among because he's not being being shown love and all that. He goes ahead and does the wrong thing. No, it doesn't happen that way. You teach your child to stand up. Tell that child to say no. And at the end of the day, size is not what matters. It's what you carry on your inside. That's why David could talk to Goliath.
Exactly.
Your strength is not in your size.
Yeah.
It's not inside. It's not inside.
I know this assertiveness thing and standing up for yourself makes a huge difference in whether people become successful or not.
That's just it.
How can you be a leader if you cannot put your foot down?
Yeah.
Imagine being a leader of a group and there are a bunch of people under you and you are responsible for them and their actions, and you're just letting everybody throw ideas at you. This one will say, go like this, you go. Go like this, you go. And you're unable to...
You're a dummy.
Imagine what should I say, chaos that will come with such a group that you're leading. You guys will not achieve any goals
be able to stand
at all.
Up for
so even as a leader, if you want to really, truly be successful, like you said, success is succeeding in succession. You don't just have one big thing happen to you and then that's it. It needs to be continuous. And one of the things that will really help you experience life to the fullest is to be assertive. Well, anyway, we have to go on a short break right now. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Daily Question Salvation TV. We've been talking about something so exciting today, standing up for yourself.
Standing up for yourself.
If you don't stand up for yourself, so let's go. The advantages.
Okay, I think one of the easiest things you can think of as the advantages is that it increases your self-esteem and your confidence.
Okay.
Because I've noticed that people who speak up, people who say how they feel,
confidence, like our Papa.
This is how I don't mean they're arrogant, but I mean like they know what they're about. Like they value themselves. There's nothing like self-value.
Like our Papa now.
Like David Ibiomie. You can see that he does not just go with the wind or go with, what's happening in the world or what's trending. He goes with his beliefs. That's why he wrote those books. Exactly. His beliefs based on the Bible, based on what the Lord has told him. Yeah. And based on those things, he will take a stand. And he will not change. He won't change whether it's the popular opinion.
It's the popular opinion, popular saying.
It doesn't move him. he stands his ground and he stands up for what he believes in. I mean, even when you listen to him preach, if a politician is corrupt, he will say, look, these people are not doing well, whether they're in church or not. And you know, this is a church, Salvation Ministry is a church where sometimes politicians will pass through. And the fact that you are there, he will still say what he will say. He will say the truth. And that comes with a level of confidence where you know that you're backed up by the truth. And it gives you this self-esteem. Nobody can come and invalidate what you're saying or invalidate your values. And that's just one of the most important things that happens to you when you stand up for yourself. Your esteem is just like, it's not about high shoulders, but it's just a physical representation.
Okay.
Of increased confidence.
All right. It also helps you to communicate with others properly. Yeah. When you stand up for yourself, you communicate more. You communicate properly with people. When you stand up for yourself, yes.
It can be nice, and we all know communication is one of the key foundations of any relationship, social, marital, professional, any kind of dealings you have. Communication is very important. Yes. And imagine not having this skill. And there's something I want to say that I had wanted to say before. Sometimes people think they are not naturally, assertive people. Like, naturally, they don't stand up for themselves. While others, it comes naturally to them. I have a friend that she must tell you how it's doing her. You can't just do anything and she will say, no, she always will tell you, look, even me, when we're really good friends and when I do something she doesn't like, she'll say, Franca, I love you and everything, but this rubbish you just did, don't try it again.
I love people like that.
That's how she is. However, the other people who don't, that doesn't come naturally to them.
Yeah.
E.g.,
Thank you.
But the truth is, one thing, if you notice, a lot of things we talk about on Daily Quest are things that you can develop. Yes. Things you can, grow in yourself. You understand?
On it.
Now, I can say that I'm not naturally assertive, so what can I do? Let me just be going like that. No.
Right now, after today, you're
know now.
After today, she's going to be assertive.
We're switching
and
things
you
up.
Need to be assertive. Nobody is going to stand up for you. You need to stand up for yourself.
The idea is to understand that you can develop assertiveness in yourself. If you notice that there are setbacks you're suffering that are happening because you are a bit of a pushover, when you realize these kind of setbacks, you take a decision and say, you know what, I am going to improve this trait about myself.
The year just began, 2019.
It's not late. I know it's 16, but it's not late.
It's achievable, so you need to just conceive it. And you have less anxiety. Yes, less anxiety.
I mean, a very good example of this is when someone hurts you and you don't speak. Yeah? So you're constantly dealing with the hurt that comes from their actions.
No, that's... I didn't know... In a way, you kind of avoid such people. She's coming to me again. I'm sure she's going to ask me something I cannot do.
And then this person is wondering why you are avoiding them. She's like, see Franca, why is she seeing me or running away? I thought we were friends. And this person doesn't know that they're stepping on your toes or they're pushing you or taking you for granted. Because sometimes people do these things without knowing. Okay. And then you find yourself feeling anxiety, feeling restless when you see this person or when you have to deal with this person. Sometimes it's a work thing and you can't avoid them. You have to work with them. And then you're constantly being anxious because you haven't been able to tell them that this thing they're doing, they could improve it and you guys will work better together. So if you are more assertive and you stand up for yourself, you won't have to deal with such anxieties, with such restlessness. Some people will even go as far as getting depressed. Okay. And they don't like going to work. They don't like going to school because they're dealing with these things they can't talk about.
I'm going to say something so profound now. Standing up for yourself makes you bold. Yes, makes you bold. And the world needs bold people, for crying out loud. So if you are able to stand up for yourself, you'll be sought after. Yes, men will look for you. Like our Papa, men are looking for him for his sound advice and all that. So if you stand up for yourself, if you're able to stand up for yourself, you have this confidence, you have this boldness, and for crying out loud, that is what the world needs today. Bold people that can come out and speak out. People that can stand up for themselves, not people that are tossed over. Because the world is looking for leaders today.
Exactly.
Such leaders.
And you absolutely cannot be a leader without being assertive.
You cannot persuade them anyhow. You cannot walk all over them. So you need to work on yourself and know when and how to stand up for yourself. Now, the disadvantages of standing up for yourself: stress and anxiety. Stress in that relationship. You're
constantly
being tossed to and fro, and you're just hiding. You're just a shadow of yourself. You can't come out to say how you feel. I mean, it's stressful. It's there's so much anxiety, there's so much stress, and for crying out loud, those things make one age fast. Faster than you think.
I know, right? And you know what? Another thing that happens when you don't stand up for yourself is sometimes you find yourself not achieving the goals you set.
Exactly.
Because you're being held back. For instance, you want to achieve a certain goal and you have to partner with somebody to do it. And because of a certain thing they're doing or a certain behavior or trait that they have, you guys have a setback. And rather than speak to this person, like, could you stop coming so late? Like every time we have a meeting by 2, you're showing up at 3:45. It's not cool. We have less time to do what we have to do. Instead, you're doing all the work yourself, you know, and something that's supposed to be for 2 people, you're doing it yourself. This happens in school, at work, whatever you're doing. And you find out that you set a goal to be done with a certain project by Friday. But because this person is not putting in their effort, Saturday, you have not done half because you're doing all of it yourself. So you find out that sometimes your goals that you set, you don't make them, you don't reach them, you don't achieve them.
Exactly.
Because you're not standing your ground. You're not, especially when you have to work with others. It is very important that you, in a very mutually respectful way, say what you feel, say what you think is going wrong, so steps can be taken to correct said problems. And then you find out that you're moving with faster speed. You're supposed to, he didn't come, let me just do his job, let me just do his part. And then you're stressed out, like you said, you're losing weight. I mean, we can't have that.
Exactly. And someone, by the way, may just ask this question: why do I need to stand up for yourself? She had just said it. You need to stand up for yourself because life is all about communication. You meet people every day.
Exactly.
No man is an island. So you
exactly. Even if you live in an island, somebody will still come to bring you water, fix your house when something breaks.
Exactly.
Even if you're living alone in one house on one nice, beautiful island somewhere.
You can go for an interview and you maybe ask your opinion about something. And someone will say, I don't really know whether I should say it. I should say it. Yeah. Your opinion is being sought after. Say it.
Yes.
Say it the way you know it. Say it the way you feel it.
Yeah.
We're not saying in a rude manner, in a calm way.
Yes.
Your views.
Yeah.
Tell them what you feel. Tell them how to go about
even
it.
In this type of situation of interviews and all that, and they ask you, oh, this is the situation we have on ground, what do you think? If you're scared that you tell them something they don't agree with, they don't practice, and then they won't hire you, it will be better for you not to get hired in a place where you won't be happy because their practices don't align with yours. Do you understand? But then it can work well for you that if you do say what you would have done or how you'd have solved that problem, they like it, you're going to fit in better with said company. So it's a win-win situation. Exactly. You always have to say it as opposed to lying. Imagine going for an interview and claiming that you have certain abilities, and based on those abilities they hire you and then give you a task that has to do with that ability you don't actually have. Imagine the problems and the way that they would let go of you.
I'm so excited now to go into the ways where we can stand up for ourselves.
How to stand up for yourself.
How to stand up for yourself. Now, I love this particular one, being practical and authentic.
Exactly. Like we can talk about the good that comes of it, but how do you go about it?
When I remember this being authentic or learning how to be practical and authentic, I remember Papa. He one of the ways to be authentic is just learning how to be true to yourself. Just being yourself. I mean, here's a man who has been given a mandate by God to do what he has to do. Well, he has the opinions of others to listen to, but then he still knows what he wants to do because he has been given a mandate. It's between him and God. Now, you may give him your opinion. It's not going to balance it out that you may consider, but he's still going to stand his grounds to do what God has sent him to do. So you need to be yourself. I'm just talking about being yourself. You need to learn how to be yourself. Be authentic.
This reminds me of something David Ibima told us about when they were trying to buy a property, land property for the cathedral. He said a member of the church gave him a piece of land around one part of River State, and it seemed like it was okay. But then when he thought about the long-term plans that he has for the cathedral, for the university, for all the schools, he realized that, okay, this is not going to cut it. I can't take this space, the hold up, the area was too busy. And he told the person, you know what, I appreciate this thing that you have given us, but we can't use it right now. Yeah, we're going to keep it maybe for something else, but we can't build our cathedral on this. Now, we all know where the cathedral is currently being built. Imagine if he wasn't there and he had decided to build it at the other place because he didn't want to hurt this young man or young woman's feeling who had come to so graciously give them such a gift. He had to say, no, I know the goals I have set. I know what I intend to achieve. This will not cut it. I appreciate this gift, but it's not what I will use.
Exactly.
And we are seeing the benefits of that decision.
So profound. And something I love that he does, and he's able to pass across his message. He can tell you something that maybe ordinary somebody outside would tell you, and it would be so offensive. But there's a way he communicates.
Yeah.
There's a way he puts it out to you, and at the end of the day, you just like buy the idea. Oh, okay, this thing I'm doing is wrong. Like, for maybe the young guys, if you come in with a haircut, you have this particular style or hairdo on your
haircut,
face, you know. There's
when
way he smiles.
In the middle.
First, you will see that love. He will tell you, I love my son, my daughter.
I love
you. This particular thing they are doing there. Don't you think he will never make you look stupid or that you don't know what you're doing? He just has the way of putting across, and that's what we're talking about today. Being assertive, being able to ask someone for something or put across something to someone without being rude. That is
so that's one way to
yourself.
do it then.
Yes.
In a very polite. I would suggest.
And it smells about that. You know, you would just laugh about. But
yeah.
At the end of the day, you just ask yourself.
You know what I would suggest?
I don't think this
hairstyle
is good. Yes, he has a good sense of humor.
He will be telling you. I'll get this your weight. I thought you were slimmer. What's happening? It will be like a joke.
And you know you laugh
but
about it. Yes,
low-key told you that.
Yes,
excuse me, you need to watch your weight, boo. You need to watch your weight. You're getting a bit big.
And he's telling you, I respect you. I feel this is how it should be. And you still love him and respect him for he telling you in that manner. You don't feel so bad about it all. So I love that. I guess
it's important for you to understand that you must respect when you speak to people. You must respect the person you're speaking to.
When you're standing up for
people
yourself,
can tell when you are condescending.
Yes.
People can tell when you are disrespectful, even if you're smiling. Someone can be telling you something, and he's like, but you know it's not from his heart. You know that this guy is mocking me. You know, so you need to make sure that when you're trying to tell somebody how you feel or share your opinion, you're coming from a place of respect. You're coming from a place of, it's very important because like they say, respect is reciprocal.
Exactly.
That thing is not just like a popular saying we used to sing when we were little. People respond very well to respect that's given to them. Exactly. And then you find them responding well to what you were telling them as well. So it's very important that we come from a place of respect and we are very humorous. Try, when the situation calls for it, try to add, be humorous about it. Especially when what you're saying can be perceived as offensive or hurtful. Yeah. Make sure you establish that you're coming from a place of love, and that you're coming from a place of respect, and that you don't mean any harm when you pass such messages. And another thing I would suggest, this is something I've tried and tested, trusted. Take small steps. Yes. Start with small things. If you find out that you're somebody who does not naturally stand up for themselves, take small steps. When you're in a line somewhere, you go to a supermarket, you're trying to check out, somebody just pushes this huge trolley of groceries in front of you and takes it. Tap them. Excuse me, sorry, I was standing there. You can't just cutting like that.
We shouldn't just go ahead and fight. Do you know who I am?
Hello, will you shift? You don't have to do that.
Okay.
Those are like small steps you can take to increase your asset. In fact, if your service provider or your bank, you see one kind of charge that you don't understand, call them.
Those people, they actually make sure they employ people that are polite. I know how to talk to people.
Now, call them and say, what's this 100 naira? I don't understand.
Talking about being attacked, there are some people that they are just in an attack mode. Now, how do we deal with such people? The first thing you need to do is to clarify before you make your stand. Now, what are we talking about? You know that you are right and you know that they are wrong and you're trying to pass it across to them. We must resist the urge to react with emotions. I know we've talked about dealing with your emotions. We've talked about emotions some time ago. Mm-hmm. You need to clarify first before you take your stand.
Because there's a small chance you misunderstood. There's a small chance
calm
you're
down,
wrong.
clarify,
very important.
And calmly state your point across. You don't need to react with emotions.
Yeah, you don't want to be
all about emotional.
You don't want to be that person.
Maturity also.
You don't want to be that person that something happened that you immediately went into a rant and a rage. And you went off and you went off and you went off, and the person was just like, actually, this is what happened. And then you end up looking stupid. That's why you need to clarify.
Such person will not come to you, definitely. Now, what about standing up for your time?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. That is a big problem because you see Mr. A going to the place of work and he sees his friend Mr. B, and Mr. B just like, oh, something just cropped up, can you come with me? And you're like, oh, it's my friend, I saw him in a deli man, so I just decided to go with him. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to stand up for your time also. You need to stand up. Don't allow people pressurize you to have your time. Yes, your time is your time. You've set your time, you've set your goals for that day. You don't need to pressurize them. I remember Papa, he says when he's praying, he switches off his phones. Make sure he doesn't spend so much time on the phone. He has his time mapped out. And talking about body language also, there's something he does. He said once your time is up, Papa says he gets up. That signifies that,
come on, be going.
Your time is over. So nobody should pressurize you about your time. You've set your time for that day, but at this particular time I'll be at this particular place. So you don't need anybody to pressurize you into doing what you don't want to do at that particular time.
Yeah.
So you need to stand up for your time.
One of the in my head right now, one of the best examples for really, really valuing your time is the church Salvation Ministries and how we hold our services.
Oh my God.
We have, for instance,
on time.
5 services every Sunday.
Right.
First one is 6 a.m., second one is 7:30. Rarely will you come by 7:30 and second service has not started. It doesn't matter what's happening, they would make sure they end before 7:30 so that at 7:30 on the dot, second service has started. At 9 o'clock, the next service is happening. 10:30, next service. 12 noon, next service. Even on Thursdays, 4:30 is the first one. Here. By 6:15, the second one has started. They respect their time. And you can't, all of us at some point have gone to a church where we were just like, is this service not going to end? There's this church I went to, oh my goodness. We were there from morning till late afternoon.
Okay.
Early 7 a.m. 4 o'clock, we have not left.
Oh my God.
They were still just carrying on and carrying on and carrying on with what I believe were just things that could have been, postponed.
Okay. So we really need to stand up for our time. We really need to stand
because
up for our time.
Because people have where they are going, People have plans that they've made.
Okay.
And it's very important.
Very important. And also, don't be afraid to say no. We've talked about saying no here.
It's one of the ways of being assertive.
One of the ways to be assertive, to stand up for yourself, is being able to say no. No, I can't do it in a polite way, not in a rude way. No, I can't do it. I can't do it, Apaka. And we need to know that nobody can invalidate your time, your emotion. People need to respect your time. People need to respect you. They don't need to be rude to you. Yes, people don't need to be rude. Know that you deserve respect at all times.
True. And another thing you need to do is be deliberate. Don't give hints. Don't try to be vague. Don't try to be ambiguous. Like,
be direct about your request.
You know how they say.
What you want.
You know how they say women are never direct.
Don't beat around the bush.
That's not it. If you're living with somebody who is messy, for instance, you have a roommate who doesn't pick up after themselves. Tell them, sorry, hi. Do you mind taking a minute to pick up after yourself so this place is not so messy? Don't start playing music about dirty people. They might not get the hint. And then you find out that you're having to deal with a dirty person. You can't invite people to come to your house because you don't know the state of squalor that the house will be in. You need to be deliberate. You need to be direct about your concerns. Don't try to be vague. Don't try to be ambiguous and give them hints that maybe they will catch it. Tell them as it is so that there's no misunderstanding. Exactly. There's no, assumption. Everything is clear. That's another thing. You need to make sure you are deliberate and very, concise.
Yes, and don't be fast to blot out excuses. Or you want to hide behind an excuse.
You want to make excuses for the person.
Just say it at that particular time. Don't hide behind excuses. Avoid excuses. And also, you need to take time for yourself. Be selfish at times. Think of yourself too. No, I'm serious. Be
responsibly selfish.
Responsibly selfish. Think about yourself also. Take time out for yourself.
Yes. You know how me time is something that's always advocated. Have me time. Don't have anybody impose on your me time.
Because if I don't have
as a Christian,
time, I can't give you my time.
Exactly. If as a Christian you have time where you read your Bible and you study, nobody should be calling you by that time and then you'll be picking up to gist. Hey, yes, you said what? He did. I think before you know, your 1 hour for Bible and prayer.
If we didn't have mean time, I don't think we'll be here today.
I know, right? Exactly. I know, right?
It wouldn't have happened this way.
So I think we are out of time and we have to say Franca Iguela.
And I'm Mona Ubejero.
And I hope you've been able to learn a thing or two. See you next time.